My first recommendation will be to stop the narrative or refugee, digital divide, people and they are displaced. This is an analog definition that does not correspond anymore to a post-COVID world. Everybody now is a displaced worker. My entire organization is displaced. I don't even know where my staffs are anymore. So what about if my staffs are actually people in a refugee camp? Then they will be working for me. This is the future. The future is a future where the economy is getting molecularized. The location of a person is irrelevant anymore. I mean, who cares where the person is, provided that they have a good connection of internet and a camera and skills. And actually, the digital economy sees these refugees and displaced people as the next big revolution in the workforce, because the workforce is actually muting as well. We are leaving the job concept to the task concept. So I'm not going to be having anymore an employer that is going to pay me a salary, but I will be able to sell my task to thousands of people around the world from my refugee camp, and I'm going to make enough money so one day I leave the refugee camp. So I think what we need to design is an exit strategy, rather of continuously, you know, I work in IOM. I have been in many refugee camps around the world, and we are always repeating the same story generation after generation, but we are still keeping them there. We are not able to develop a business model that will allow them to leave the country and find their destiny. I was myself, I was not a refugee, but I was a migrant in Spain when Spain was very poor, and I came to Switzerland, and I in this country develop my life and my company. So if you empower people and you unleash their potential, there is absolutely no way anymore that in 10 years time or 50 years time we're going to keep on this narrative of digital divide, refugee, misplacement. We have to bring the world to the Alexander mentioned about those 25 million. I see them as a 25 million potential digital workers. Then they are going to slowly enter into the economy. This actually, you know, when you divide, for instance, I'll give you an idea of economics. If you divide the market cap of a company, which is a very famous social network, without mentioning the name, which is reaching $1 trillion, and they make $1 trillion market cap on 2 billion people, each person is $500 per year contribution to the valuation of that company. So, and these people are all over the world, including refugee camps. They're accessing that social media company, and they are counting on that valuation, right? So if you bring the workforce that represents the refugees, the camps, the misplacements, the people, the illegal workers, and they cannot find a permit, but you don't need a permit to access the internet and sell your services, right? You can do that and you can get paid with cryptocurrencies, so you don't even need to have a bank account anymore. So that's the future, right? But we need to change the narrative ourselves as well, because otherwise we are repeating the same old business model, which failed totally because people are still in refugee camps and people are still unable to incorporate themselves into the economy. And now, due to the COVID situation, where everybody's going to have to rethink themselves, it's a total digital transformation going on around the world, new thinking, new technologies. Only countries and people that they are able to grasp this digital transformation are going to be there for the next cycle of growth. And this is a big opportunity to refugees of the world, right? They are, and I will encourage them to get educated, at least enough to sell their services online, to get a digital identity so they can get paid and they can identify themselves, to download a crypto wallet so they can get paid with cryptocurrencies, and then compete against other people in very expensive cities, which obviously their salary is going to be much higher. That's the opportunity for them. And this is the time.